So let me ask, how many times have you told yourself you're going to start something when you feel ready, or when you feel motivated, or when you're finally in the right mindset to lock in? Then a few days goes by, maybe even a few weeks, right? And nothing actually changes. Not because you didn't know what to do, but because you're still waiting to feel like doing it. Right? That's where most men stay stuck. And I know that because I lived that way for a long time. I used to think that I just needed to get my mind right first, like if I could just feel more motivated, or if I could get this inspiration, this feeling, that everything would fall into place. But the truth is, I wasn't lacking motivation. I was lacking the obedience to follow through. See, I was waiting to feel different instead of choosing to act different. And because of that, nothing in my life was actually changing. That's when I started to understand something that basically shifted everything for me. Discipline has nothing to do with motivation, because discipline is obedience. It's doing what you already know is right, whether you feel like it or not. And there's a verse in Luke chapter 11, verse 28 that reads, "Blessed are those who hear the word of God and obey it." Not the ones who agree with it, not the ones who talk about it and act like they know about it, but the ones who actually live it out. And when you really sit with that, you start to realize that most people aren't stuck because they don't know what to do. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. They're stuck because they're not following through on what they already know what to do. Once I learned how to stop relying on how I felt and started focusing on the obedience, everything in my life actually got simpler, because the things that we need to do are actually very simple. See, one of the biggest reasons this works is because it removes all of that back and forth in your head. Most people spend their whole day negotiating with themselves, right? Should I work out today? Maybe I'll go later. Oh, I'm too tired now. I'll just start tomorrow. And that constant decision making, it will drain you. But when you operate from obedience, the decision is already made. See, I wake up early, not because I feel like it. Most mornings I just want to stay in bed. But I get it because I've already decided that that's what I'm going to do. I train for 45 minutes to an hour a day, not because I'm a motivated person, but because it's part of my standard, it's part of my routine. Same thing with my food. I prep my food in bulk, not because it's exciting, not because it tastes the best, but because it aligns with my goals and who I'm becoming. So in those areas, there's no daily debate anymore. It's just settled. I already know I'm going to do it. If we look at James chapter 1, verse 22, it says to be doers of the word, not just hearers. Because if you're constantly talking, because if you're constantly just taking in information and you're not acting on it, you end up stuck in the same place anyway. So what's the use of it? It's just more knowledge. And another reason I know this works is because it builds your identity, not just your results. Most people are so focused on outcomes, right? If you take weight loss, for example, they want to look better, they want to feel more confident. And yes, that's obviously a goal you can have. But if that's all you're chasing, your actions will always depend on how you feel that day. But obedience is different. It shifts your focus to becoming that person who will follow through regardless of how they feel. And over time, that changes how you see yourself and what you believe about yourself. Every time you show up, for example, to train even when you don't feel like it, you're reinforcing that you're the type of person who does what needs to be done. Every time you choose structure, discipline over comfort, you're building that trust within yourself. That's why fitness is so powerful, because it's not just about your body. It's one of the clearest ways to shape your identity. You're either someone who keeps your word to yourself, or you're someone who negotiates your way out of it. And this physical body shows up every day with you when you're presenting yourself out in the world. Galatians chapter 5, verse 16, it tells us, "Walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." what that's really showing is that direction matters. If you keep choosing alignment, right, choosing the word, you won't keep falling into the same patterns that have been holding you back, because your flesh is always going to push you towards what's easy, right? Sleeping in, skipping workouts, eating whatever's convenient or whatever you're craving. So those feelings, those cravings, your flesh, it doesn't go away, but obedience gives you a way to override that, because now you have a different lens to look through, which is obedience. And the last reason I know that this works, which is probably the most important reason, is because it strengthens your relationship with God. This is deeper than just getting in shape, than just making more money. When you practice obedience in the small things, like waking up when you said you would, or training when you don't feel like it, you're training yourself to move based on the truth instead of your emotion. You're building a pattern of alignment. Jesus says in John chapter 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. There's no condition in that. It doesn't say when you feel ready, when it's convenient. He's calling us to consistency. And what I've seen both in my life and other people who I help coach is that when someone struggles to follow through physically, it usually shows up spiritually as well. See, prayer becomes inconsistent, your commitments fall off, discipline fades in all of these areas. All of this is connected. But when you start building your discipline through obedience, everything in your life will start to align. You're not just becoming more consistent in fitness or in the gym, you're becoming more grounded as a person. Your actions start matching what you say you believe. That's why I keep structure in my life the way that I do. Waking up early, training every day, being intentional with what I eat. It's not about being extreme. What's actually extreme is living without structure and expecting your life to improve. Fitness just becomes the daily environment where your practice is. It's where you show up, you follow through, and you do what needs to be done even on the days you don't feel like it. And over time, you don't need any kind of motivation, because you've built something stronger than motivation. You've built consistency rooted in obedience. So if you've been stuck in this cycle of starting, stopping, waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right moment, you don't need a new plan. You just need a new approach to your plan. You stop asking yourself, how do you feel? And just ask yourself, what needs to be done? And then when you know that the actions that need to be done match up or align with that person that you want to become, then those are the actions that you do. Because the results that you want, the life that you're trying to build or that you want for yourself, that peace, that internal peace that you're looking for, it's on the other side of obedience, right? And if this is something you've been struggling with, if you know you've been stuck in this loop of either overthinking and not following through, or starting and stopping, this is why I post these videos, and this is actually what I coach. So you can work with me one-on-one. I have an application link in my bio. So if you're ready to actually change and not just keep thinking about it, click the link below. But if not, I hope this video helped. Thanks for watching.